Now I hope all of you guys are having a great day. Here's the latest news surrounding stimulus check. We got some breaking news from Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They have just spoken about the fourth stimulus payments and the infrastructure bill being approved. Everybody, be sure to stay until the end of this video because I'll be going into more information about stimulus check.
Because of actions of that Supreme Court supporting legislation that is shameful in every way to our country and what we are about.
So the Senate will vote on Monday on whether to take up a House-passed bill to avoid a government shutdown. Just remember, if the government does shut down, Social Security payments will be put on hold. And of course, our stimulus checks are going to be delayed because the federal government won't be working. This simply cannot happen. With President Biden in office, he has to do a better job in helping out the American people. What do you guys think about this? So the vote, set up by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, has set up a high-stakes showdown with economic consequences. The House-passed bill will need 60 votes to advance in the Senate. It might fall short. Democrats will need the votes of at least 10 GOP senators.
And again, I'll just conclude by saying this is a process. And it's going to be up and down. That's why I don't look at the polls. Not a joke.
But so far, no Republican everybody has supported the measure. Congress has until the end of this month to avoid the government shutdown. And the House-passed bill would fund the government through December 3rd. That's when Congress will need to raise or suspend the country's debt ceiling. To avoid a historic default, the Democrats have already said that they do not want to see a government shutdown where they control Congress, that is both chambers of Congress like the House and the Senate, as well as the White House. But they haven't yet publicly outlined what a backup continuing resolution would look like. Thing is that currently there are no negotiations going on between Senate and Democrat, between Republican and Senate Democrats. Republicans are trying to force Democrats to increase debt ceiling as part of the $3.5 trillion bill. But Democrats are hesitant to do this. In my opinion, folks, the Democrats and the Republicans must focus on helping out the American people before anything else. They must not let the government shut down and must increase and must send out the stimulus bill with this infrastructure bill. So the good news is this. In the city of Cleveland, many city residents are receiving stimulus checks from their counties. Cleveland, everybody, in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, they're sending out $511 million in total from the American Rescue Plan to help out their city residents. And this will help many low-income people in the city of Cleveland. Here are some of the states and cities that are receiving the most money from the American Rescue Plan sent out from President Biden. New York has received $4 billion, Chicago with $1.8 billion, and Los Angeles with $1.2 billion. All this money, everybody, should be sent out to the state residents. And it will help out many Americans that are still in need of financial assistance and haven't found jobs yet. Now, New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles are in the top 3 spots, since they are three of the largest cities in the country. Now, Philadelphia has a population of 1.58 million and is receiving more stimulus money than Houston, Texas. Now, those 5 cities are the only ones in the top 10, with populations exceeding 1 million. The remaining 5 cities, including Cleveland, San Francisco, St. Louis, and Baltimore, indicate that its poverty and housing metrics show that many citizens are in need of financial assistance. And of course, more stimulus checks. And what I mean by that is more stimulus payments. Now, the good news about the child tax credit payments, and of course the third stimulus checks, is that families with up to $50,000 in income have saved and invested their monthly child tax credit payments. Folks, the child tax credit payments are helping out Americans recover from the crisis. The payments are part of the temporary expanded child tax credit payments created by the American Rescue Plan earlier this year. In total, the expanded credit can be as much as $3,600 per child under 6 and $3,000 per child ages 6 through 17. That is up from $2,000 per child in the previous bill that was sent out. And everybody, the infrastructure bill is now in the hands of Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and President Biden. They have the job to trim out the $3.5 trillion price tag so it can pass with at least some Republican support. In the letter on Monday, Pelosi put Democrats on notice that they will have to craft a bill that can pass both chambers.
It's about women's right to choose, yes, but it's about freedom freedom of that choice, and freedom from the vigilantes, the bounty hunters that the Texas legislature has set in motion. It has so many things going against it, you have to wonder what the Supreme Court justices were thinking. Or were they thinking? They certainly were not respecting women. And with that, I'm very pleased to yield to the Assistant Speaker of the House Congresswoman Katherine Clark of Massachusetts, a leader and fighter on this issue for a long time in the State Senate of Massachusetts and now in the Congress of the United States. Katherine Clark.
Thank you, Speaker Pelosi, for your leadership, for your dedication to women, children, and families, and to my incredible colleagues behind me, who know that today is an important marker for women's reproductive freedom and that we are committed to building back better for women. Just like roads and bridges, childcare, elder care, paid family leave move our economy forward. For too long, we've been told these are lesser issues, somehow not infrastructure. These are women's issues, private family matters, that they don't impact our economy and they are not worth investing in. But the truth is, this has been brutal to American women. 1 out of 4 women have been forced out of the workforce because of the collapse of the care economy. $57 billion a year is lost in productivity because women and families struggle to find care for their loved ones. The Build Back Better agenda recognizes that families are struggling to afford home and child care. Care providers, who are predominantly women and women of color, can't make ends meet or keep their doors open. They don't make enough money caring for our children to care for their own. Parents are forced to choose between a paycheck and a sick child, and basic necessities from food to diapers, drugs break the monthly budget. When I was first elected to Congress, I was balancing care for my 3 children and 2 sick parents. I felt like I was failing someone every day, but I was incredibly lucky to have a partner and to be able to afford help. But for too many people, that is out of reach. And the struggle to get to work and provide for the basics of their family is out of reach as well. It's women who pay the daily price for these social failures, and it's our entire economy that suffers when this care system collapses. Democrats have an urgent message to the American people. We see your struggle and we are taking action on it. The Build Back Better agenda will get Americans back to work, lower costs and taxes for families, ensure that everyone, women, children, communities of color, are not left out or left behind. Who agrees with us? CEOs across the country, small business owners, chambers of commerce, all demanding we make these crucial investments. This is how we build back better, by ensuring the needs of women and families are met with the same urgency and level of funding as every other